us know about the old folks' tale of Irish folks' tale about finding a pot of gold, a leprechaun's pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. That if you follow a rainbow to its end, you will find his gold there and get something for yourself. Today, we celebrate the Epiphany of the Lord, that day in which the three magi went to see Jesus. But they, instead of following a rainbow, they followed a star that appeared in the sky. And they brought with them gifts. They went not to get, but to give. To give to Jesus. You know, the first two gifts of gold and frankincense was prefigured in the first reading today from Isaiah, that people would come and give gold and frankincense and give it to God through the temple. For the temple, first of all, was arrayed in many different types of gold that were there. And frankincense, of course, were a type of incense that was offered in the temple to God. Those were the gifts that they brought to Jesus. But then they brought a third, myrrh. You know, it's kind of strange to bring myrrh because myrrh was used to anoint a dead body. You bring out a child, myrrh, the oil that was used to anoint a dead body. But yet, again, it's to show that this child was to die. And through his death, many would be saved. They came to give rather than to get. You know, the tabernacle, the new tabernacle we had, the reason I chose it is because I like the symbolism that was there. No, the first reason is that it kind of looks like the rays of the sun. Jesus being the true Son of God. Jesus being that light of the world. Jesus, that light which is in the tabernacle. Second reason is because it reminded me of the star that rose at Jesus' birth. And I knew that I would be able to point to that tabernacle once a year on Epiphany and use it in my homily. That we follow the light. We follow Jesus Christ. And just like the Magi in the gospel today, we are to give rather than to get. To give rather than get. Now, this would be a great point for me to preach about stewardship, about giving of time, talent, and treasure. But that's not where I'm going to go with this. Though, it would be nice if you give a little bit extra to the collection. But instead of going that way, I want to ask you, what do you give at Mass? When I look out in the congregation sometimes at Mass, I see a bunch of people that are barely alive sometimes. You know, that they're not participating at all in the singing, in the prayers, that basically they're just barely here. You know, even worse, you have the people that stand there like this, like kind of daring me to try and challenge them. I'm not going to participate. But that's not what worship is about. Worship is not a passive activity. Worship is not something that I do to you. I'm not like some type of witch doctor where I'm conveying on you something. You know, boogala, boogala, booga. That's not what worship is about. Worship is about giving to God. Giving to God in our actions. Giving to God in our words. Giving to God our hearts. And so today, as we come here and we gather around Jesus Christ will be even more manifest at the altar. What are you giving? What are you doing to participate in this Mass? Are you here just for some type of passive activity? For truly, worship is giving to God, an active participation in what is happening around us. What are you giving on this day in which we celebrate the Epiphany?